that is. Okay. Popping up with messages as soon as I go live. What is going on, everyone? Oh, my goodness. It's starting to get cold out here in New York. The sweatshirt, the hat. Got to keep the... I was just discussing with the wife where to set up once it's too cold to be out here. I don't mind, shooting a video out here during the winter. You can see my breath. I can freeze for a little bit. It's okay. But as far as being out here for an hour, it's definitely sooner than later going to become a indoors type of thing. And so I don't freeze my tuchus off. Oh, look at that. I did change my... How you doing? What's going on, Al? What's going on, Dave? Yeah. Just... I feel as if I almost haven't been out here enough, but I'm done racing for the season, so that makes sense. I was going to come outside last night and do some stuff, do some cleaning, organizing, which I direly need to do, but I got a case of the lazies and started watching scary movies with my wife, and I was just like, well, this is kind of okay too, and then... every night. I was playing Call of Duty, but since Battlefield came out, my buddy Doug and I started playing that, and tell you what, the suck is real when you go from... Now, I wasn't great at Call of Duty, but I tell you what, Battlefield's humbled me a lot. Getting ready. Awesome, good deal. Very cool. Yeah, I know, Technically, I could run Saturday, but there's just too much going on. My wife and I got to do our cleaning job on Saturday because we are going with the family to what's called Stokey Farms. So it's a big, fall to do. They got pumpkins and hay rides and the whole nine. Friday going to a haunted hayride of sorts, I guess. It's kind of new development here. And then Saturday, got to do our cleaning job. We got to do some grocery shopping. I got to record a video for the channel, and that kind of, that's going to eat up most of the day between those things. And then Sunday, we're going to go do the Stokey Farms thing with the family. I believe both kids and their significant others are going with us. So it's a good time for family time. As much as I'll miss racing, it kind of, when you're in the north, you got this block of a time that you're going to race, and then it gets cold, and then I have no desire to be cold. So freezing my buns off in October, mid to late October, is not my idea of a good time. So shutting her down, and I really gotta... New York's known for, if you don't like the weather today, wait till tomorrow. I'm sure there's going to be a slightly warmer section of weather coming here soon, and as soon as it does, I'm out here and I'm sweeping, I'm organizing, I'm just preparing for the shop to be somewhat shut down. I can also start working on the scythe a little bit, get that torn down. I think that I am going to go with the Evolution seat for my UAS ride next year. I think I'm going to buy another one of them, get another one of the extra larges, because the little bit I was in it on the Shatter, I really was comfortable. I did not feel out of sorts. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I felt like I just right in it. I don't know if it's a difference in placement of the seat or what's going on, but I'm going to mount... If I get another one of those, which I intend to, I'm going to mount it almost exact into the scythe on the UAS ride, because that was super comfortable. I really like that. Fall's goodbye. Yeah, I like the summer. I don't mind sweating. I don't mind being hot. It's more so that up north we take advantage of the warmth. So I can deal with the oppressive heat, some people might say, because I get to do stuff. I get to, go racing and go to the amusement park with the family and do all that stuff. to where it's the fall. I don't get me wrong. I like the coolness of the fall, the rain and stuff. It's okay. It's just that I don't like being cold. I really don't. I mean, that's weird for a northerner to say. It's just like I could move south and get away from this stuff a little bit. But yeah, it is what it is. Yep. What's going on, Bill? Just chilling out here in a barn that I recognize everything out here, but I've been focusing on other stuff. Basically I come out here to shoot videos and get my job for the YouTube channel done. And then spending a little more time inside with the family and hanging out. Yeah, I know. I'd even be willing, like my dad, when he moved to Florida, he was big into UAS down there. My dad did what I did. So he is an administrator. He became an administrator for UAS when he was down in Florida for a little bit there. And they shut down midsummer because it's just oppressively hot in Florida. And he's like, it's kind of like New York. You just, the rate, you can race if you want, but like state races and stuff like that, they take a little bit of a pause and just not subject everybody to that heat. And to whereas our winter, we got, well, it's the end of October. Sometimes you can race into October. So we'll have November, December, January, February, March. We'll have 5 months that we pretty much do nothing. You can go indoor racing, Syracuse. I'll probably go there and, just watch. The beginning of December, and then you have Motorama and stuff like that. You have some indoor races that pop in and out in the Northeast, but I don't go out of my way to do that stuff. I just it's a good time to hunker down and rest and recoup some of my finances. As is this past, no secret, Google pays me a little bit for ads and what have you. That had to go directly back on the credit card to pay for the motor mount and the seat for this thing. So, is what it is. Hey man, I love your videos. Question: how does someone new into karting know where to go for races or even watch? I'm outside of Cuse. Oh, okay. If you are outside of Syracuse, there are. I'm trying to think what tracks are near you or in vicinity. There is I know you're in Syracuse, so you're a bit up north. Weedsport. Weedsport runs throughout the summer. They're usually on Sundays. They do run some special shows on, Friday, Saturday type of deal. Weedsport is probably going to be fairly close to you. I'm trying to think what that northern track is. I've never been there. There's Can-Am. That's up that way. But Facebook is probably the best place to go. And search out what tracks to go to find out. Moose Mountain is central New York. I'm drawing a blank. I feel bad that I'm maybe some of my people in here can remind me of some of the tracks out. I haven't been to a lot of them, but if you go to the southern tier, there's a couple more that I just went to. Dreamfield Speedway, that's in Afton. It might be a bit of a drive for you if you're just outside of Syracuse, but I mean, I drove, what was it? I thought it was an hour and a half, but I think it was more. I think it was more like 2 hours for me, which still isn't, god awful bad, but it's a bit of a drive if you're just going to observe. There's another one that's Syracuse way that I'm really shoot. I'm drawing a blank. If I think of it, if it pops into my head, I will definitely let you know. But definitely. It's weird that, some people don't like Facebook. It is what it is. I use Facebook for basically two things. I use Facebook for racing and being in the know and participating in whatever groups and stuff, and family. That's it. I don't indulge in much else on there. Because it's, I don't know, you can drive yourself bananas on there. But I use Facebook for those two things, and that's somewhat Instagram as well. Instagram doesn't have enough information, though, for, if you're talking about that specific subject of racing, where to race, and this and that. Facebook is definitely the tracks around you. Maybe you could search Northeast and there would be talk of that, talk of what tracks people are at. But yeah, it's racing visit. Yep. Had a question. Q&A stickers, something you always lose. What? This it's offering me it's offering me engagement things. Hey everybody, what do you often lose? 10mm sockets. That's real easy. 10mm sockets every single time, or Allen keys, quarter inch or 3/16. We're racers. That happens all the time. Yeah, absolutely. There's Northeast groups, and see, that's, being a little more Western, it's tough for me to say because, the track, we don't have a ton of tracks around here either. But yeah, absolutely. That I would look on Facebook. That is probably the biggest place for the racing community. It is definitely, for, like I said, everybody that gripes about Facebook. And if you use it as a tool instead of what a cesspool it can be at times. If you just use it for a tool or for engagement with friends and family type of thing, I think it's definitely useful. I agree with Alan there. Racing a business, that's if you want to call this a business, I don't. It's become a second job. This channel's become a second job for me, but it's fine. I don't mind this job. I can understand though, like if I don't know how I would go full time doing this. I couldn't pay my bills doing it, that's for certain. But I can see people who make their passion their job, and how it could be overwhelming and you could lose drive. I could understand that, but then if you stick with it, if you just realign yourself, realign the way you're thinking about things, I think it's possible. But I have I don't want to say a bunch of friends. That's kind of an overstatement, but I have some friends that have turned like creation into an actual Dan C. Bearded. So he works in the bearded industry. Started a channel in 2017 or 18. He's almost at 100,000 subscribers. He's also a consultant for beard companies and goes to all these shows and teaches about beard and proper care and stuff like that. He's parlayed his knowledge base and his passion about something into a full-time job. He was a teacher. He now teaches. He just teaches about beards and beard care and stuff. But he is able to do that. And I don't know that, there's a lot more beards out there than there are kart racers. So parlaying this into a full-time job would be a pretty large leap, and I'm not sure that I have the time in order to dedicate to it. But yeah, but he, like him, he has his own Facebook group and stuff like that, and I can see the avenue in which you would have to go in order to make that happen, and using Facebook and social media as a tool to gain, to improve your business and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely definitely a tool. Just use it as a tool, not a place of frustration. And believe me, it's frustrating. And I've said it before, but I've taken to, like, I'm not a mean person by nature, but I have a hard line of what I'm willing to take, and I've decided that negative comments, insults on a product that I'm putting out there, I just delete them. I've had enough of the negativity. Yep, that's I will come back if it's worth my time to come back and correct the situation, state my opinion. But usually, if it's just for instance, somebody, I don't know, I posted up something about the Shatter chassis and somebody said junk, and it's just like, you didn't even give a reason, like how. Based on what? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to engage with you. Just delete. You gone. I got no time for that. if you wanted to come into my comment section and explain yourself, explain why this and that. There was a nice, I would say nice, it didn't get heated, but there were some opinions on the titanium clutches. And it was a discussion though. And I'm like, I respect this. You know, people dislike it for whatever reason. You know, they got their issues with it, cost or this or that, or it's unneeded. I totally understand. And it, you know, people had some strong opinions on it, but it was respectful. And I'm like, okay, you know, somebody just didn't slide in there and start knocking on 5.3 titanium or something. And it had that happen, delete, they would have been gone. But yeah, it's all the way you perceive things, all the way that, you know, the way I'll allow things to happen on my channel. It is, I'm the boss of my stuff. And if I don't like what you say, then, you know. What kind of karts am I racing? Currently, in this stable, in this barn of mine, as you can see, it's a barn. I have 2 flat karts. I have my UAS ride, which is a 2022 Phantom Racing chassis scythe that is set up for UAS racing, so big brakes, room for the big fuel tank, big engine. And then my clone kart that I just received not too long ago is a 2025 Shatter Blast. That is my clone kart. It's right here. Yep, right to my left here. Dirt, oval, slicks, which I'm not against. I'm not against treads. That video is going to come too. I'm going to do a video on treads and tear-offs. I think this Sunday I am going to do titanium clutch. And I have some jokes that I have up in my noodle that I want to say, and I'll save it for the video because I think it'll be funny / true. I think it'll be pretty good. But talking about my experience, now I've only been on a titanium clutch once, but more so the theorem behind it, the cost, the this and the that, the pros and cons. People that run a standard Bully or Viper or Gator or whatever you want to call them, I'm going to do one of those. So that should be Sunday. I think I'm going to do that Sunday. I think I got 2 or 3 different topics that I wanted to come out with. As much as I like reviewing products, as much as I believe the Shatter chassis video has already done 1,000 views, and it's less than a week. So that's, for this channel, really good. You know, for people to sit down and actually watch a video on something I created, you know, 1,000 different people watching it, it's fantastic, and it'll only grow from there. But reviewing products is great. Doing, you know, I got a couple more in the tank for reviewing products, but I've done the helmet and the chassis as of late, and I want to at least get back to a little more informational. I did do the seat one, so that was informational. But I gotta sprinkle the kind of sponsored type of videos, the review type of videos, along with the informational. I gotta get a steady balance. I just can't. I don't ever want to be, and I think I'm my own worst critic on this. I don't want to be considered a sellout, that I'm just doing product reviews, that I'm just, you know, doing whatever is, trying to sell stuff or hack stuff, if you will. I don't ever want to be perceived like that. I still want to give out the information. I still want to do topics and everything. But it's super nice to have products to be able to show people. Yeah, I got a couple videos in the works for that, or ideas and stuff. Yeah, absolutely, Alan. That's why I mentioned. How'd you like? I had to throw Ryland in that video. Okay, back to the questions. About to put my 10-year-old nephew in junior champ. Any good tips for new young drivers? He's 0 racing experience. Be patient. Really be patient. That I kind of talked about this before, but it is, you're out there to learn and have fun. Like, there is a perception of everybody that you're going to jump in stuff and be fast. I see it with my own son. You know, all I can do is relate these things. Now, my son has never driven a dirt kart. He doesn't have any desire to drive a dirt kart that I know of, but we go indoor racing occasionally up in the, what I call a city. And there are electric karts and it's road course and this and that. And he's gone twice, and the first time he's just like, I knew I wasn't going to be that fast. And the second time, like, he was concentrating on being fast, and I lapped him again. And this time he was very frustrated. So there's a perception when you come into anything, no matter your age, no matter your experience, that you're gonna kind of go out and win. That you're just gonna, and it's possible for a new racer to get to that point, but an emphasis on fun, enjoy it. It really is. It can get frustrating when you're not running up front, when you're not winning. That's because everybody's like, "Oh, did you win, buddy?" Type of mentality, and that's fine. But dirt racing is hard. It's as simple as karts are, as basic as they should be. It's hard because people are fast and people are, they make decisions that may not correlate with the way you're driving or anything. But it's log laps, get experience, be patient for the most part. Try and, even if you put your kid out there and they're not doing the greatest, encourage. Hey, you got better that time. What did that feel like? Can you turn good? Just really not say you're the best and you're the fastest type of thing, but really encourage that this is a learning process. Just have fun until you get the feel of it. But that's my opinion on that. Hold on. I'll answer your question. I was like, I gotta. That's cool. Have an RBI shifter running CR 125. Nice. Yeah, I love. I'm a two-stroke kind of. That somebody asked me. I get questions on the clones and this and that and basic stuff. I can I got it. RPM range, oil, cleaning, this and that. But they're like, hey, what do you think about this? This. I'm like, man, you're asking a two-stroke guy to go out four strokes. That's I haven't learned that much yet. He was like, oh, 9, that's awesome. Love the Track Deck series, helped me learn. Finally home. Yes, SAA is great. It's a great prep for cold tracks. Even I know they say it drops durometer 5 to 25 points. I haven't seen that unless you're really getting after a tire, like at home with some heat or something like that. I find that the cold weather preps, SAA Grape and SQS, they dry super fast. Obviously, SAA Grape is more aggressive than the SQS, being SQS is a pre-race wipe, but they dry very fast for that. They build heat quickly, and they're made specifically for the cold, that they will build heat in a tire. But yeah, when and if you do get some Grape, you'll notice how quickly it dries, and that's on purpose. That's you don't. Wet tires are. I know some people come to the grid with wet tires. I don't usually use that practice unless it's specifically called for. But you'll find that SAA Grape and SQS dry pretty quick because I believe there's a bit more of a they're not as oily based. They're more of a solvent based type of prep. They work real well for that. Did you say racer? Will bump drafting work? Bump drafting does work in karting, absolutely. It depending on track size, personal experience. This past year, I ran at a track called Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, and if you lost the draft, you were in trouble. And I know that from firsthand knowledge. I was in the back of the pack. It was my first time on a clone at that track. Somebody had gotten way out of shape, and I lifted. I shouldn't have. I was trying not to wreck the guy, and as soon as he got squared up, he didn't lose the draft, and I did, and I could feel it, the wind push against me, and I mean, I was running wide open. There was nothing I could do. The leaders are coming. I eventually became lap traffic because I lost the draft. So bump drafting absolutely works. Pushing the guy into the turn absolutely works. The aggressiveness, ooh, she's kicked my stand. The aggressiveness really depends on where you're at, how bad you want it, whether you're willing or not to make your buddy mad or competitor mad for that matter. Yeah. But yes, drafting on karts is a thing. Getting tight, aero tight is a thing in karts. Yep, all the things that you can. There is a lot of correlation, no matter what type of racing you're on, between big cars to little karts, to between NASCAR and karts. I've been on big fast tracks with big fast engines, and you absolutely, if you pull out, if you've got to run on somebody, but it's not enough of a run, and you pull out from behind them, you can feel the wind against you push your kart back, and you lose the draft. So you have to time it perfectly in the corner to get enough of a run to get by them. And then if you're running too wide, that is absolutely going to drive, pull somebody else up to your bumper. So, and then there's a decision to be made by that person who they want to push through, or do they want to go with you and try and follow suit? Or do they want to push the outside and maintain that momentum? That's absolutely part of kart racing, depending on what size track. When you get to your smaller bull ring type tracks, it's less of a thing, but it's still a thing. You can absolutely get aero tight behind somebody even on a bull ring. They take the air off your nose. That removes downforce. It removes turn, because our noses are rounded in the front and air is constantly pushing down, forcing your tires into the track, gives you turn. As soon as that air is blocked by another kart, if you got to get up on somebody, the air is disturbed and it goes over both of you, your straight line speed gets faster, but your turn gets worse as the following kart. There's Chavis Racing Products actually took a design aspect from NASCAR. If you look at the brand new, the next gen cars, as they call them, behind the front wheels, they actually are cut out and rounded from what our Nerf bars are, but back behind their tire, they're rounded underneath, and that is to help with that aero push. They took that design concept and put it on a kart body. So that's on the bigger, faster tracks. Is there that much of an advantage? But if you guys are within tenths of each other, thousandths of each other, and you have an advantage, it may play a factor. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, champs, because they're punching such a big hole in the air. There's more material around you. You're creating a bigger wake behind you, and that you can lose your nose real easy following up. It happens in UAS racing, absolutely, because we have the big wedges, we have wings, we have stuff like that, and we're going so much faster. So eventually, I have to actually transcribe my thoughts on. I think I'm going to do something for American Muscle Kart, which is the Unlimited All Stars magazine. It's going to be coming back out, and I have intention of doing. There's two subjects I could do it on. One was suggested to me. The other one was aero and wings and stuff like that. Front wings, but no matter what you're running for, like a wedge or anything like that, and say a UAS kart, the faster you go, the more the aero makes a difference. The more that the wing behind you, the wing in front of you, and not so much that's an opinion of mine, and it's what is that big word that I like to use occasionally? I can't think of it because I'm not a smart man, Jenny. But a front wing will work, but it takes, because it's smaller, and the air gets disturbed if you get behind somebody. And the nose creates different. It's an airfoil, so if you actually use a wing and the air gets disturbed, it stops using it so much. I went wingless on my front nose. They look super cool. I love them, but I could still turn. I didn't feel that much of a difference. Some people, hey, do front wings work? Yeah, they do. A little bit. They look cool. Some people make them work really well, but do I think they're necessary? You know, it's anecdotal. That's the word. Yeah, see? I knew I'd think of it. Sometimes I like to sprinkle in smart words to pretend like I'm smart. I'm not. I say I barely graduated high school, but that's not true either. I passed okay. No smarty kind of guy. Yeah. So yeah, lots of cleaning, lots of this, lots of that. I'm gonna this year again. I'm gonna attempt to continue to shoot videos out here. I'm just more comfortable shooting videos out here for Sundays, but we're probably eventually gonna move this operation, the live streams, inside, just so I'm not sitting in the cold and uh, breathing in cold air and freezing my butt off. But if I made it through last winter, and every year, so the people go by like the Farmer's Almanac and this and that for northern. Oh, this is going to be a bad winter. Is this? And it's like yeah, every winter's bad to an extent. The past, we'll say 5 to 10 years, it's just been super cold. Not a ton of snow. Some snowstorms here and there. Don't get me wrong, but it every year we get any time there's any little bit of like a snowstorm that we're perfectly used to up north here, it's the end all be all. You better get your milk and eggs type of deal. And then when it hits, it's just like, seriously, you made that big of a deal about that? Okay. It takes some serious snow up here. Like, oh, I was still a kid. I was a teenager, and I think we had, was it 2.5 or 3 feet of snow, something like that. We occasionally get pretty bad ice storms up here. Those things are pretty gnarly. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Ice storms are serious. Power lines go down. You no matter, you tread on your tires, no matter 4-wheel drive, no matter anything like that, man. You hit ice around here. I used to live out in the country. I live in a little town now. I used to live out in the country in a trailer on 10 acres, and the road it wasn't super steep, but it was enough of a grade like this up to the main road, the flatter part, that I'd run down, I'm going to run downtown and get some milk and eggs, blah, blah, blah. And then I had a 4-wheel drive Jeep, and I'd pull out, and it would just, you're trying to go, and the thing's just, your wheels are turning forward, but it's trying to make it straight to the ditch. I ended up in the ditch once or twice. It'll definitely, you'll learn your skill set of driving in the winter up here. It's funny, I had a story, or somebody told me a story long ago. They went down to Texas. They bought a 4-wheel drive truck. I don't know why. Mud, I don't know. They bought it out of Texas. We have rust up here, and Texas doesn't have, near as bad. So they were driving back, and the Carolinas had what they said was a pretty bad snowstorm, and it was like, I don't know, 5 inches of snow, something like that. And I think they had shut down the roads, and it was a buddy, he's since passed, but he was trucking on through. They stopped him. They're like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like, "I'm headed home." And they're just like, "We have an emergency. Your roads are shut down." And they're like, "Where are you going to?" And he's like, "New York." And they're like, "Oh." And they let him go. Knowing full well that, wait, you're shut down roads for this? Oh, man. We in high school, we used to have this thing where the superintendent, like, basically, if he could walk out to his mailbox, we still had school. And if he couldn't make it to his mailbox, kids talk, and that was the rule that we thought there was, that if he couldn't make it out to his mailbox, then he canceled school. Obviously there's more to it than that, but it's a northern thing, what we're used to. There's a skunk chilling out here. Either that or my neighbors are having a party. That's skunk. That is all skunk. There's a different scent to it. So hopefully he doesn't wander in here. He occasionally comes around. I had a neighbor try and trap him at one point in time to evict him from the village, and it didn't work. He tried real hard. He had it all set up, and he had like a rabbit trap type of thing, like cage deal. couldn't lure him in, and he likes to bounce in between the underneath the back porches of all the houses here. But yeah, yeah. I don't want to say it's hard to talk about stuff because obviously I'm doing just fine, rambling off about stories and what have you. But when I'm not racing, it definitely makes for more interesting type of story time instead of racing. What could we bring up? I could bring up the drama that what was it? Jasper switched insurance. Uh, Much to do about nothing. Maybe maybe that. I don't think they did it to try and get Williamson and the other dude into the race for the World 100. I don't think that was a thing, but maybe they just they didn't want it to be a question. I've been down to Jasper. That track was amazing. Went down there in 2019. That you participated in. What was your favorite race to date? Oh, ooh, that's a good question. I would love to say, boy, I'd like to pick one that I won, and then there are some really good ones. Boy, I got lapped there. I was going to say Dumpling Valley just because it was the first Grand National that I ever qualified for the A main in. I got lapped there. There's so many really good ones that it would be hard for me to pick one. But the ones that do pop into my head, there was one at Paradise Speedway. It's my local track, is no longer a thing. Big quarter mile. I was against some serious horsepower. This is before the Bama days, before I had a 250. I had a little 125, and I have a million laps around Paradise Speedway. I raced there for 20 years. And this was, I don't know, probably year 15-ish, so I had been around there a bit. In the heat races, it didn't qualify that great. I started mid-pack. We had like 24 carts. And the leaders were on, there was a big 450 or 500cc Suzuki. Jimmy White owned that. There were a couple Siamese 100cc's up front. There, I believe there might have been a 250 two-stroke or something like that. And we took the green. There ended up being a red flag. And I passed so many carts in like 2 laps. And I got up to, I don't know, we'll say 5th. And there was a big rollover. I think Bobby Baldwin ended up wrecking and flipping and this and that. We had a red flag. And Jeff Drugan, my buddy out of Connecticut, came up because he was out of the race. Maybe he was one of the casualties of the wreck or something, or maybe he's just watching. But he came up. He says, "Go to the front. This thing is on a rail," and I felt it. I had a little 125cc air-cooled sedan against huge horsepower. I was against all odds with what I had. I was on a 2004 Trick Olympic Panaz. I was on arguably one of the smallest engines in the field. There are strokers of that engine. I was not on one of those. I was on a pure 125 on methanol. Nothing special about it. No crazy porting. No. At that time, I wasn't overly knowledgeable about what flex I was running. I went by head temp, and it was like I was on a rail. It went to the front immediately, and I took off. I was able to drive into the corner so hard, and like I was at a horsepower disadvantage by far. Big, long straightaways. I mean, you hit almost 80 mile an hour going into the next turn. I was at such a horsepower disadvantage, but because of my corner speed, for whatever reason, no special tires, Burris 33s. I never did much to my tires. The tire pressure, the setup, the way I was able to drive into the corner with that kart, it just went fast. I was along for the ride. That's all it was, and I took off. And Jimmy White had he had lights on the front of his nose, so you could in the old video. It was, the Paradise was notoriously dark, but you could see Jimmy's headlights on his 450 Suzuki, and I was just leaving them on the straightaway because I was carrying so much. That was probably one of my. It wasn't like it was before the quarter point era. It wasn't. It was just we had a huge showing up for this particular race at Paradise Speedway. I think it was 24 karts that we started the feature with. Like I said, I started mid-pack. It went directly to the front, and I just took off. And it's probably the one that stands out. I know there are big moments. Dumpling Valley when I qualified for that. Possum Kingdom when I went down there, that was great. I qualified 7th in 2019 at Jasper. All great moments, but just remembering how fast that kart was, and not that I didn't know what I was doing, but boy, it will always stick in my memory, like how that little engine, the little engine that could, it took off. It was freaking amazing. But yeah. Hey, what's going on, G-Lou? That's probably the one that stands out the most. It wasn't for big money. It wasn't for anything. It was a race. It was a UAS race. And it just still gives me kind of goosebumps. It was really, really fun. I ran at Jimmy White. Nice. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Those were a lot of fun. I think I was administrator then. I'm pretty sure I was administrator, and I got a bunch of kudos. Obviously somebody recorded the race, put it on Facebook and everything, and they're just like, who's ever the administrator? And I never did anything special as an administrator. I kind of like this. I try and create an environment where people want to come. I never, maybe one race I was able to secure some money, make it like a 500 to win race. At one point in time, but I never ever. Matter of fact, I lowered the entry fees. I just let the track handle everything. Like everybody just come to race. The prestige of winning one of these things, the prestige of racing with your buddies is enough for me. Just come have fun. And I do miss being an administrator a little bit. I never really dealt with any flack. Not a ton, some arguments. I never had to, because my position was clear, man. We're all men, grow up. You know what the correct thing to do is. Tried to stay as neutral as possible, even though, if there's some people that I didn't, much care for. Just create an environment where everybody wanted to come and race. But yeah. Do you ever think about doing mod or something full size? I have, but it's cubic dollars, and honestly, what the money that is tied up in the UAS ride, the engine, the clutch, the everything that goes into UAS racing, I probably could do something bigger, but I love kart racing. I fell in love with it the first time I ever got behind a wheel. The Flathead days, that was 2002. I just absolutely fell in love with it then, and I haven't fallen out of love with it since. It would be cool to try something new, but I don't desire to, if that's anything. I've never had an opportunity. Nobody's offered me a ride or anything like that, and that's, honestly, I'm I'm dealing with finite finances, so I can't delve into anything else. And I don't have the desire to. I think I found my home. I like it. I'm going to stay in my lane and learn and help, promote promote dirt kart racing best can, and go from there. So you always. Oh, thanks. Question. Set up 11-inch. Set my seat up 11 inches off the rack. The chassis calls for 9.93 recently. The issues caused new racer. You're going to be able to see wonderfully. What raising the rear of your seat does is changes your vertical center of gravity. Basically, it's this. The higher you set up, the more rollover you get. So the more you're going to load the right side tires. That might be a good thing in a loose condition to get the tires to bite in, the right side tires to bite in, but you do have a tendency to get off your left rear. It also, I want to eventually do a video on this. What's going on, Scott? I see you. A cart is a series of levers. There's always something doing this. That is, so you are changing the lever in at the rate of transfer of how that cart wants to behave. Now, I've seen people run their seats more straight up, and it may work for your certain situation. Now, I will say this, that a lot, not all, a lot of cart manufacturers are down south. They have higher grip stuff. You want to get out of the air. You want to take away some of that VCG so you're not rolling over on those right side tires as much. You're keeping everything as low to the ground as possible, but that's for a high bite situation. Up here the north, and depending where you're at, Midwest possibly, Northwest, I've seen those guys run way more sat up. If you find it comfortable, if you can make it work, it's perfectly fine. But if you notice that your speed is suffering, that might be something you want to look at. That maybe you're getting too much over on your right side tires, creating that high center of gravity there. Just a theory that you might want to play with. I've run mine up to 10, 10 and a half, somewhere in there, because it was comfortable, but that was UAS. We kind of deal with, different parameters. You rarely want to run everything as a factory built a cart as UAS. Have a tendency to run less nose. You can run less left in a UAS cart. You can sit your seat up a little more upright and just it. If you feel as if you're lacking speed somewhere, it might be something to take a look at. But if the cart feels good, if you feel competitive, if you're comfortable with it, that's, one of the things people do get away from, I think, is, they put the seat exactly here, and it has to be this many inches off of here. Now, that is the way the cart was designed. Are you comfortable? Because if you can't make it 20 laps without sawing on the wheel, with being uncomfortable, without, exhausting yourself, maybe that's not the position for you. Maybe you can change that up a little bit to make it a little more user-friendly, and then kind of change your setup, change some cross, change some, tire pressures to accommodate for where you want to run your seat. Just an idea. Hello to everybody. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. But having push center off indoor racing. Ideas I can try and get through those corners better. 730 Predator treads. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, treads are throwing a wrench in the works, because I know they behave differently. The theory is the same, from slicks to treads, but I'm trying to think. They just behave. At least last time I ran treads, they behave way differently for me. In theory, widen your rear axle, move out your left rear hub. That's a thing that can do. The wider your rear would help take drive away. It also changes the lever that I just spoke about. So the way it loads the right front, that will change that dynamic. It's pretty. I'll show you. See how far out I'm running that? It's not super tight. We have a lot of tighter tracks up here. Also, if you're pushing, maybe get a little more nose weight on the thing. You could also play with your right front camber and maybe I would suggest this only because the lever theory is if you tip it down, you're going to increase your rate of transfer. I don't know what it's going to do on treads coming off the turn, though. I would possibly tip your right front down a little bit, load that a little quicker. People's perception of that could be different than mine. I don't want to say for definite. I try never to say for definite. Two things that I would try is I would move my left rear out, see if that helps. It will change your rate of transfer. It will change the grip off the turn a little bit. And then I might play with some cambers. You can either lower that or you can increase your left front, tip it down a little to get the thing to transfer the nose a little harder. Just a thought. Yeah, Predator on treads, that's got to be tough. That's not a ton of horsepower to be pushing around a bigger tire, but I've never run. It's been a long time since I've been on treads. 2010? 15 years since I've been, somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah, that's, if anybody can help them, that's, okay, you'll be fine. You're in Lawrenceburg, we're playing on. Nice. Yeah, if anybody can help with that question, I try not to overindulge in theory when it comes to treads because I know they change the dynamic of the chassis different, and without being on them, I don't want to tell you to do something that's that's going to screw you up, and then it's just like, this Ben guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I know it shouldn't be different, but I know it is. I think the spring rate of the tire is different. The grip level is different. The way the tires roll over is different. It almost softens the chassis because there's more to it. They're not as hard and, kind of planted type of thing. So it just makes me wonder, what kind of the lever that I just spoke about, what kind of transfer that creates and what would have. But if I were to do anything to it, you could also, depending on the type of cross you're running, take some cross out of it, see what happens. I would just try one of those things, see if it points it in the right direction, and if it makes an improvement, keep on going. Just a thought. Oh, you do? Okay. North Burnie. Lawrenceburg, yeah, I got to get there. Good to try those adjustments that you're talking about. No, I don't always assume that I'm right. I can assure you. My wife will will back me up that I am often mistaken. We'll say that. She likes to say wrong. I like to say often mistaken. It's a softer way of saying it. Sometimes I'm like, what'd you just say? What'd you do? I bet as much as I am gonna enjoy the off season. I hate the cold and everything. It gives me a chance to reboot, and it gives me a chance to think about where I want to go with the Shatter. I want to try some things with the UAS cart. I do have to have somebody rebuild my bottom end, though. That's I love Buller, but sending it out to him could be a little more expensive. But then again, you pay your money, you take your chances. I gotta have my bottom end redone, rod and bottom rod end bearing. I can't remember the last time it was apart. It made it through nationals. My Bama there. I have to have somebody do the bottom end. I can handle the top end, putting it back together, put a new piston in it, fine. Because I don't know how many runs that piston has on it. Engine ran great up until my clutch issues, but I don't know if I can get a hold of my buddy Strail, have him do a bottom end on this thing, or I don't trust myself to take that apart. And yeah, that's a bad thing to screw around with on a two-stroke, especially. We were racing at Ashway. Nice. Very cool. That's that track looks like it's awesome. Yeah, eventually, maybe someday I'll be able to get down there. It's just such a, if I lived down south a little further, then the trips wouldn't be so bad, and then I could race everywhere type of thing. But yeah. Yeah, try 2 data, right 2 on the front, take 2 washes all up front. Nice. Yep. I'm running a winter indoor circuit. I wish we had a covered indoor, like I know it's gone away, at least this year, but the Salem indoor, the Northwest, like I would be okay with like a 1-off or a 2-off race. Coke syrup just isn't my thing. I've run it a couple times. It's not. I'm a wimp, I guess. There's lots of G-forces, and if you don't know what you're truly doing, you can get yourself in trouble, and really things can go sideways in a hurry. I appreciate everybody that goes out. I like watching it, but it's not for me. Now, if the Northeast had a true indoor dirt series, that would be kind of cool. What is it? The Cajun Indoor Nationals, Williamston, stuff like that. If we had something like that, I would probably find myself at one of those tracks doing something. I would prefer to be on the UAS ride because it's more my, I'm just, you go back to what you know and what I think I'm fast at. But then again, I didn't feel horribly off the pace on the new chassis in the clone, so it may have reinvigorated my. I was starting to get a little down on myself and my ability to run a clone, and it's got to be the way I'm driving. It's got to be. My tires aren't that far off. The chassis setup wasn't. I mean, I even went to my buddy Kyle Pease. We put a whole different setup on the thing, and it's got to be the way I'm driving. It's something I'm doing. Something I'm doing to dial too much grip into the kart or something. To whereas this thing was really free, and it's just like, that's what I need. Hold on, I'm missing some stuff here. I'm going to try. Okay, I'm running. Nice. It's fast. I'm running. Yeah. Like people spin in the middle of the track and no yellow. Yeah, that happens. Calls are missed. It's unfortunate. Yeah, there is a thing in UA if you're out of harm's way. Oh boy, that I have opinions on people holding the brake till they get the yellow type of thing. But if you're out of harm's way and you can get going, I know it's a bummer. And maybe it wasn't your fault that you ended up in that circumstance, or they ended up in that circumstance, but causing a yellow because bad stuff happens racing. Bad stuff happens. It's tough. That's discretionary calls don't always go in everybody's favor. That's for certain. It's tough, and eventually maybe I'll do a video on drama, but I have so many opinions, and there's so many variables to why somebody threw this or did that, and it's a lot of people will just say it's favoritism or this and that, and I'm not saying that's the case with what you're talking about, but it happens that anytime they don't get a call, it's favoritism, and that's their driver, and oh boy, it's. Do I think the UAS should incorporate asphalt in racing? I'm not against it. It's primarily a dirt series, but I raced asphalt on it this year. It was fun. I didn't do well. Of course, I lost my plug wire before we knew that any of the adjustments that we made were going to take effect, but they should have. I mean, I came way up on pressure, and we made some adjustments to the kart that should have freed the thing up because, boy, I was tight. It was bit up, as they say, but it was. I'm not against it. It's super fast, though. That is as much as maybe why we don't make a asphalt open series or UAS has a division of that of sorts. It is super fast. We're really pushing the limits of what the tire can take, and dirt can be dangerous as well. I'm not saying that, but there's a variable there where you have some slide out, you have some runoff room, to whereas things happen super fast in UAS as is. And if you are on asphalt, the grip level is unbelievable. It was more than what I thought it was going to be. Like, I was like, holy crap, this is intense. I'm not against it, but it's a cool theory. I think that, obviously we had, was it a quarter point? Might have been a quarter point. I think it was a quarter point at the shoot, I forgot the name of the track. But yeah, we raced around there. It was crazy fast. I'm not against it. One time I changed my 2 laps, I think. Oh boy, that's no good. Yeah, that 2 laps, and with you sitting in the center, that's a huge bad call. That is no good. Brand new 5-year-old on a set. Oh, geez, yep. From person, if you want to be. Yeah. It's there is a fine line, whether it be a track official, whether it be somebody in a series, as a series director, as a representative of, and I am in no position to tell anybody how to do their job. There is a fine line of standing your ground and then overdoing it. I've seen it in every walk of life. You see it at your job or anything like that. There is a fine line of being overly aggressive for no reason. I've seen that. And there's also too mushy. And maybe when I was administrator, I may have been a little too mushy. But my kids know this all too well about me. I am my son often gives me crap about this, that he's just like, he asks about, we're getting another cat, and it'll be cat 4. Him and his girl wanted to get a cat, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. And he's just like, why did I know you were going to say that? And I said, as long as you're not upsetting my homeostasis, if you're not bringing drama into my life, if you're not causing me harm, it's not that I don't care, but I don't care. Okay, cool. Does it make you happy? Sweet. Excellent. And I have that general rule about me that as long as you're not upsetting the feng shui, as long as you're not upsetting the entire entity of what's going on there, and you can make it work, okay, that's cool. Maybe, you will, but like I was starting to say there, though, my kids, I have hard lines on certain things. Like, don't ever do that, or don't ever push me to this point. You will find out how smiley happy dad turns into I do have a mean switch. It's hard to find it. It's dark in there trying to flip that switch, but you can find it. You'll hit it. Usually when I get run into track, that's a good way on track. For no other reason than you're running into me, you can find that switch pretty easy. Yeah, that's hey, what's going on? What's going on, Doug? Holy crap, it's been an hour already. I suppose it is a little, no breath yet. It's getting a little cooler out here. So I think Sunday, I'm going to do the video on titanium clutches. Oh, the drama. Oh, what does he think about that? I think I have a good, after the discussion that happened when I showed my bully, the bully weight versus the 5.3 titanium clutch, the discussion that happened, I'll call it a discussion, people have opinions and everything, but it was a discussion. I think I have a good balance of pros, cons, this and that. I think it's not a necessary video for new racers coming in because, you know, somebody, you know, pops into the sport and then they see titanium clutch. You know, do you need it? You know, oh, they have a titanium clutch. That's why I'm losing. And it, you know, I wanted to cover that and give my opinion on it. And it's an opinion. And I'm sure that I'm gonna, I don't want to say catch a whole lot of slack. I can already see the comments though. Like I am clairvoyant in that sense that people will not watch the video. I will post it on the Facebooks and they will immediately comment. I can see it. it's coming. But I think unless I change my mind, and you'll know as soon as I post on Sunday morning what the video actually is. But my intent is to do it on the titanium clutch and my thoughts on them, and you know, pros, cons, this and that. I think I have a good range of what to cover. And give the best information that I have to the people. Also, if you wanted to learn about 5.3 Titanium, has a YouTube channel, and Kyle at 5.3 Titanium goes through how to assemble them and what the ins and outs of, you know, maybe I'll do something on that. I don't want to ever oppose what the manufacturer says about their things, but maybe my experience with it, maybe I'll do a specific video on that, or maybe I'll just incorporate some of that into the video that I do Sunday. But unless I change my mind, which is quite possible, because I'm squirrely, the intent is to do titanium clutch for Sunday's video. Does a chassis stiffness really matter? Yes. Yep. We'll just take we'll take the yin and yang. If you run a 1.1/8" chassis, you will flex the snot out of the thing. You can watch even on you take I talked about a 125cc air cool, and when you wrap on the motor, you can watch. If you watch the rear rails, they will do this. It absolutely matters. Tube thickness, 083 tube to 095 to 1.1/8, all has different flex rating. The design of the chassis, you know, it can come into play of that, how hard or soft it works on a different type of surface. And there you go too. You can also add in there that if you are on a hard to get a hold of, softer track, loose stuff, you can run a little softer of a chassis than if you're going to run on something that is big, fast, hard, black line, that type of thing. So absolutely. Now, that being said, sometimes, with all those things to consider, sometimes, and oftentimes, you can get more usage out of a older kart chassis on UAS than you can for, say, clone racing. Now, it's track dependent, it's horsepower dependent. Are you running a 500cc Jawa on it, having all that weight on it? That's going to matter. Are you running a lighter 250 two-stroke? Are you running a BRC 150? Are you running, you know, just a souped-up clone? These things all matter, but absolutely horsepower affects the chassis, and the chassis affects the application of the horsepower to the ground. God bless y'all. Got a great under race Saturday. Nice. Very cool. Yes. Yes. God bless you all as well. Somebody asked me a while ago if I believed in God, and I do not deny that. Never will, type of thing. Yeah. So God bless you. Yes. 1988 Shadow, and I thought about getting a 450 for it. It depends on it might work. It's not a, well, shoot. Drawing a blank. I got a buddy down in Florida that runs a older kart, and he is really fast on it. If you know the kart, if you know what works on it, it possibly could run. It could possibly run pretty well, but he needs It's pretty old. I wonder if that's inch and an eighth. It might be. Try it. I'm not. Who am I to tell you you can't do it? You know, if you want to, but I can tell you this. I will. The last story before I go in. When my dad moved to Florida, we had 2001, 2002 Coyote Thrashers. Coyote is kind of local to me. They're in Rochester, New York. They had an oval chassis called the Thrasher. I think they had an Assassin, but that was inch and a quarter. But we had the inch and an eighth version. My old man went down there, even with a little 125 sedan, lightweight UAS engine. He says it was unbelievably inconsistent. The inch and an eighth full tubing was inch and an eighth, and he says on anything that was bit up at all, one corner would be great, the next corner would be terrible, and it just would load and unload, and the thickness of the tubes matters. And I'm not telling you you can't do it. A 450 is a lot for an older chassis like that. Just my opinion. I will never tell you not to do it. Do what makes you happy. If you want to try it, try it. Maybe it works. Maybe I'm full of poo. You know, it's quite possible. Ask my wife. All right, guys. Thank you very much for stopping by, as always. But more than likely, titanium clutch video coming Sunday, unless I get a bug up my butt and decide not to do it. Other than that, I will. We'll see you here next Thursday. It will be Halloween Eve. Ooh. But thank you very much for coming by. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.